Sophie, till late in the third quarter, you guys were struggling offensively in that frame. Second half in general didn't feel the same as the first half on that end. Did something change for you guys? What did you see as kind of leading to stalling on that end?
Yeah, I think we were just kind of slow. And every time that we're slow, especially defensively, it just somehow affects our...
In one night, the Indiana Fever blew a 13-point lead, sparking an internal crisis. Coach Stephanie White blamed a stagnant offense, but players told a different story. Sophie Cunningham revealed a team that had lost its edge and identity, with a perplexing coaching decision exposing a disconnect between the players' efforts and leadership.
Overhead is Cunningham with a steal. Cunningham feeds Sims, who goes coast to coast and lays it in.
So they had to make sure they had the right shot clock time as well while they were reviewing that.
So Indiana with a 10-point lead here, 6 minutes until halftime as Boston finds some space and knocks it down. Now Sims launches ahead for Mitchell. What a pass by Odyssey Sims.
It's up to the chat. Get excited! It's in the chat. Why at the same time? Because I'm you and you're me. You should find me. Zub's in the chat.
It seemed like an easy night for Indiana at first. They controlled the first half, building a 13-point lead, with Eli Boston dominating the paint and demanding double teams, and Kelsey Mitchell doing more than score. She orchestrated plays, read the Mystic defense, and set up her teammates. The Fever played with the swagger of a postseason contender. The ball moved, the defense was engaged, and they silenced the away crowd. Yet beneath that commanding performance, a disastrous breakdown was brewing, ready to unravel everything in an instant.
Buckeyes. Here is the Buckeye product on a backdoor pass, but Mitchell lost the handle. Sutton thought about the three, steps in, Hull got a piece. Dolson has been wide open all possession, splashes home a three, and we are level at 4. It into Boston. Hand off Mitchell. Indiana has to hurry. Lob back for Boston. Boston finishes. It's a 2-point game. 5.
In seconds, Indiana's lead vanished as Washington's 22-7 run drained the Fever. The offense became stagnant, the defense careless, and turnovers and fouls mounted. Sonia Citron and Kiki Afen scored nearly 40 points combined, exploiting every mistake and dismantling Indiana's lead, leaving the young team humiliated.
I'm off the bench. Indiana has 8 first-quarter bench points. That's typically been a strength when they're playing well, as Iriafen just bullies her way inside. Now Citron being guarded by Lexi Hull. Hull goes over the screen, defends her really well. Citron just has to fire it up, and a circus shot.
The players gave their all. Aaliyah Boston had 20 points and 9 rebounds, Kelsey Mitchell 14 points and 9 assists, and Sophie Cunningham energized the team with 8 points, 6 assists, and 3 steals. Despite their effort, Indiana lost. And the answer lies not with those on the court, but with who remained on the bench.
And looking, finds Mitchell, launches a corner three, it won't go. Rebound Ainksler, and this young Washington Mystics group who continues to impress throughout this season. And Sidney Johnson in his first year comes up with a big win on
their ball screen coverages right now.
There's Mitchell on the handoff, bounce pass. Boston one bounce and a left-handed finish. Here's Boston, the offensive rebound, flips inside to Howard, who lays it in.
You go step up screen, flare on the weak side. They had to make sure they had the right shot clock time as well while they were reviewing that.
So Indiana with a 10-point lead here, 6 minutes until halftime as Boston finds some space and knocks it.
Watching Kelsey Mitchell repeatedly drive into a crowded paint highlighted Indiana's stagnant offense. The team never had a clear solution, and Chloe BBY, shooting an impressive 42% from 3, remained on the bench. Her spacing and shooting could have opened driving lanes for Mitchell and room inside for Boston. But instead, she watched from the sidelines as the team struggled. It was a baffling decision that pointed directly at the coach.
Yeah, I think we over-dribbled at times. Our off-ball movement wasn't there. We did a lot of standing. It's almost like we gave the ball to Kelsey and just tried to watch her work. And that's not when we're at our best. I mean, yes, Certainly we want to have the ball in our hands, but we've got to continue to get movement with and without the basketball. It was getting stuck. I mean, we want to play 0.5 to 1 second basketball, and we weren't. And it's got to get.
Coach Stephanie White sat Chloe BBY over defensive concerns, yet Indiana's defense still collapsed, allowing wide-open shots and sending Washington to the line 14 times. Kiki Afen dominated inside, and despite admitting the offense was stuck, White refused to use the most obvious solution at her disposal.
Chloe Bibby tonight, were there thoughts maybe plugging her in to try and spark the offense a little bit, or what was the decision behind not playing her?
Yeah, there were some thoughts. I think that it matched up defensively more than anything with the way that we were going to try to play them, or in some of our switches and things like that. So that was mostly the reason.
And then just with the rotation, was it just those eight or seven that you ran with? Was it just they were flowing well and you wanted to just leave that going, or what was the thought there?
Yeah, I think some of it was defense. Being able to execute the type of defensive coverages that we wanted to have against this, the way that they.
Sophie Cunningham spoke with unfiltered honesty, refusing to use injuries as excuses and declaring, "We must return to our canine nature," calling out the team's lack of effort and toughness, highlighting a divide between the locker room's focus on heart and the coach's focus on strategy.
I think we had 8 turnovers for 13 points in the second half as well. So we didn't take care of it.
Indiana with their work cut out for them here. 6-point deficit, just over 5 minutes left to play. Mitchell, feed inside. There's an easy 2 for Boston. Cunningham leans in, thought she drew the foul. Boston pulls down the rebound and lays it in.
With key players injured, including Carlson, McDonald, and Clark, the Fever leaned on Boston, Mitchell, and Cunningham to carry the load. Despite building a 13-point lead, the team's overworked roster exposed inexcusable strategic rigidity. Success required smarter, more innovative coaching, not predictable decisions.
I think it was something like a 22-7 run, the end of the second, beginning of the third quarter. And those are hard to recover from anytime really, but when you're missing pieces. And, we've got to make sure that we're sharper at times. We don't have the margin to have lulls within quarters. And then I believe they had something like 21 points from free throw line and turnovers of their 26 in the fourth. And, we control that, defending without fouling. We control that, taking care of the basketball, decision-making at times. And some of it's, playing some people out of position, and some of it's just not being, valuing the basketball in the way that we need to value it, being a little sloppy.
Pulls her way inside.
What a pass by Melvin, too. Really nice.
Mitchell turns on the Jets and gets to the rim.
No one can keep Kemper is one of the best rebounders out of her area, which means the ball not directly above her head is Cunningham with a steal.
Cunningham feeds Sims, who goes coast to coast and lays it in. So 4 quick ones for it.
Indiana's offense was broken, relying on Kelsey Mitchell to beat multiple defenders while Washington packed the paint. Chloe BBY, the perfect counter, sat on the bench. It wasn't just a stalled offense. The coach actively strangled it.
I think the thing that we just have to continue to do that kind of got us on the run we had before the last couple games was we were aggressive at the opponent attack on defense, and that led to easy transition buckets. That led to everyone being aggressive and on their front foot on the offensive end. And, we have new players, and that's okay, but, we just have to adjust, and we need them. We've faced a lot of adversity, but we should be used to that by now. And I think they could just kind of outwork us a little bit, and that just can't be ours.
Fans are frustrated as the Fever repeatedly falter under Stephanie White, showing talent but lacking in game adjustments. Losing to weaker teams raises a key question: is the coach helping or holding back this roster?
the outside things. You can't control injuries, and so that's why you really do have to control your mental and control what you can control. And I think that we have a really good group. We're still a tight-knit group. We're adding new players in that are amazing. O's been around the league for a long time, and I know you don't think so, but it's a blessing that you weren't on another team because we need you here. And so I just think it's an adjustment period. The highs and lows, you just have to stay kind of steady, right? Every team faces it. I feel like we faced it more than most this year, but I think this is going to set us up for something good. I don't know if it's this season. I don't know if it's next season, but I think there's always something that you can be grateful for and learn during those.
The split between coach and players became painfully clear. While the coach described the offense as stuck, Sophie Cunningham called for a return to toughness and identity. When players must lead both on the court and in shaping team culture, it creates a dangerous void, especially amid injuries and a tight playoff race.
The message inside the locker room, like what were you guys talking about there after the game?
Yeah, I just think that we've had some hard injuries this year. We've had some different lineups and roster spots. And, to be frank, I don't think anyone else around the league thinks that we can do it anymore. But I think that our group does. And I think that we just have to get that confidence back. When we're clicking offensively, defensively, we're scary. And not a lot of teams can beat us, even with the roster that we have right now. And so for us, it's just remembering who we are. It's our identity. We got to get back to being dogs, got to get back to being aggressive, being on our front foot, and not allowing teams like this to come in here and outwork us.
This defeat was humiliating and costly, dropping the Fever to 7th and tightening their playoff margin to nearly 0. Losing to a lower-ranked team jeopardized their postseason hopes, leaving them to face every remaining game with a thin roster and uncertain leadership, one collapse that could define their season.
A couple games where it feels like kind of that wear and tear's taking a toll.
Not really. And I think that she kind of hit it. You have to give yourself a little bit of grace. When you have so many different lineups, O and I have never played together. O hasn't played with a lot of people, maybe Tosh. But you have to know her style. She has to know our style. And so it's different, but that's part of being a pro. You got to adjust and you got to learn fast. And I think that's a really cool thing too, because when you click, you click. And so that's scary for people coming in here and trying.
This setback goes beyond a single game. It signals a deeper problem. Despite Boston, Mitchell, and Cunningham giving their all, inflexible and unresponsive coaching is undermining their efforts. The Fever's identity is divided between player performance and questionable sideline decisions. Who's truly responsible for this collapse? The players, Stephanie White, or the injury crisis? Share your thoughts in the comments.